Hi everyone, welcome back to Aidans Railways. This is another unscheduled video. It's a bit of a follow-on really from the Hornby announcements one. I've been lucky enough today to obtain a copy of this. I didn't order it online, I didn't do anything like that. I just happened to go into Tesco's and lo and behold it was there. And it was exactly where it needed to be by the magazines, so I immediately picked it up. I love the comments that we got in the last video. I really do. Like I say at the end of all the videos, I always say, leave a comment if you want to. I'll reply to them as soon as I can. And there was so many this time. It was really good. And some of them were quite really informative, not just about what you were getting, but possibilities of myself being wrong, which is always possible because I don't know everything and I don't profess to know everything. But it was quite interesting because, like I mentioned in that other video, that when I was younger, I remember my father had the Triang rocket and the 3 coaches, and it was times, dispatch and experience, I think it was. And as far as I was concerned, looking at those new releases, the two rocket sets were just effectively different packaging. But as someone else pointed out in the comments, that's not necessarily the case. And I actually had a quick look on the Aidans live stream on Friday, and they also said that the one pack has times, dispatch and experience, and one pack has globe and something else and something else. And it's quite interesting that Aidans, obviously they've been up close and personal with those samples. They know that. They've spoken with Hornby there at Margate, and they're going to know that information. But what I did find very interesting was, if I just get this magazine, the catalogue straight, that even in the catalogue it doesn't state that. Now it does state, and I don't want to be getting into trouble here for showing the actual catalogue, but it does actually state in the catalogue that on the Triang one, and it states here it's 1,500 pieces limited edition, right? Which we knew was a limited edition, but it states that inside the Triang one it has times, dispatch and experience to form part of the Hornby train centenary year. Now that's exactly how I thought it would be, because obviously if it's got the Aidans Railways box to it, that's the one that was released. That's the one I remember my father having. Now, even when you look at the photo and the image of the actual sample here, yet again it does have dispatch, times and experience right there. That's exactly how I remember it. I must admit, there was one thing I noticed, that, and it might not have been the same with all of them, but the chimney on this is white, or it looks white. It could be incredibly silver. I really don't know, but on this image, it definitely looks white. The one that my father had wasn't white. I know that. So obviously we're going to get that. It looks a lot finer. The detail on these coaches looks incredible in comparison to that of the old Triang one. But it is obviously a retooling. But what I did find interesting is when you move further on into the catalogue, and I haven't got post-its ready because I've not long had the catalogue. I've just had a quick run through to really establish some of the things that they have brought out that I didn't even notice on the website on the release dates. And in typical form, I get the distinct feeling I'm going to have trouble finding what I want. There we go. So if I move across to here, this is the ordinary train pack. Now, I've quickly scanned that. I haven't gone into an awful lot of reading it properly, but it doesn't seem to state on here at all what coaches you get with it. So obviously Aidans have got to know, because they were there and they're giving that information out. So I don't doubt them at all. I've got no reason to doubt them. But what makes it worse is, and this is why it's a little confusing with the catalogue, on the actual images they're showing for the other pack, the names on the coaches are dispatch, times and experience. So I'm still lost as to whether they definitely got 2 sets of names on the coaches, or whether if you never saw the Aidans video and you were to purchase one of these sets, you might not necessarily get those coaches. So I just find it really strange. It doesn't state what there is in that one, but the image does have those names on. So I'm still at a loss, and we'll just have to wait, I think, until they're actually released, which, according to this, is Q2. I think when I read on the internet, it was somewhere around about February, March time. So they're not far away anyway. We're going to find out very soon. But I just thought that was one of those interesting comments, and I liked it straight away, because I thought, well, that's even better. One of those comments actually did state that it is going to push it up for the amount of people who are going to buy both sets now, just to get all 6 coaches if they're completely different names. And that's true. It also means we're going to get people, and it's one of these things I don't particularly like, but it happens, and we all know it happens. We're going to get people who are going to buy those sets with no intention of keeping them, but to sell them at a much higher value, and we know it happens. It happens all the time with limited run things. So I don't know what else to say on that, but I thought I would bring that particular one up because I found it to be incredibly interesting in relation to the rocket. It's not something. It certainly didn't say it on Hornby's website on Monday. It doesn't say it inside this catalogue, and the only people who seem to be giving that information out are Aidans. So let's see what happens. That's all I can say. Let's see what happens. It's going to be one of those things we're going to end up with. I have a feeling if they are different names, we're going to end up with 1,500 carriages with names that aren't on the other ordinary set, and there could be a bit of a race on to see who can get what. But don't know. It's an interesting comment. I thought I would put it out there, and like I say, I do enjoy getting those comments because of this. You start to really dig into sort of what's really going on, and I've got to say, there isn't an awful lot of information in the descriptions on the Hornby website. It is really difficult to get a real information descriptively on specific items. Also, it was really, really, really interesting to see what other people were saying that they've pre-ordered or what they really want to actually get. The hush hush has been a big one. Speaking to a big L&ER person, who that's what they model in, that's what they collect, and it was interesting to see their specific pre-orders or what they want specifically, because obviously there's 5 variants of the W1 there, so it is really interesting to see what people have got. I can tell you now that personally, if I'm going to get one, I want to go for that, that very first. That's what it looked like when it came out. I think it's in the experimental grey type thing, or the actual prototypical one, because it's a one-off. That's what it looked like. I want to see if I want to get one, it's going to be like that. That's just my preference. But like I say, there's another thing I noticed with this catalogue. You'll have to excuse me because I've just had some pop. This year seems to be, as well as all the announcements we saw, and we've all been able to hear about now on the internet and various sites, is I think there's an awful lot of train sets for once. Normally there's about, I don't know, half a dozen or so train sets out there, but I noticed very quickly they're still offering the actual Coca-Cola set throughout this year. So it wasn't just a straight away for this, this last Christmas gone. It would appear that they intend to continue running it this year. There's loads of these starter sets and midway sets. I mean, I love that. I love the Beatles one. But you see what I'm saying? This year, they seem to really, really be pushing the boat out with the sets. I've noticed that there's an awful lot there. And I don't know what it was like last year, because I didn't actually have last year's catalogue. I don't know why, but for some reason, I didn't get it. But ordinarily, and I know from all my other catalogues, the railroad was always at the back. It was always, it's at the back there. That's where the budget stuff is. It's at the back. And it's not this time. They're really pushing the early market here, with the actual railroad stuff there. So the getting into it has been thrown in at the beginning, and I like that a lot. It really does show that they're trying to encourage people into the hobby. But this catalogue is It's 243 pages long. That's just, I've never noticed that kind of size for a Hornby catalogue. And it is packed. Actually, speaking of which, there was something that did take my eye, and I didn't notice it. It's obviously not a new release, but I don't know if you can see that there. That J36. Never noticed that before. That's definitely, definitely worth a punt, that one, for me anyway. But I've got to say they've really pushed the boat out this year with the catalogue. So it was really a bit of a follow-on from that 2020 video Hornby releases, because there was a lot of information and there was not a lot of information at the same time. We were getting filled full of images. We were all getting filled full of images. And they have released a staggering amount of stuff this year. But there still seems to be not a huge amount of information, if you know what I mean. So this rocket one, I'm really, really keen to see how that one plays out. Hattons have given us that information, and I do not believe for 1 minute they're going to be wrong. I can't see why they would be wrong, because like I said, they've been at Margate, they were there before Christmas, they saw that stuff. They've been up and close and personal with it. But why on earth has Hornby chosen not to state that the other pack has 3 different names from the other pack? I don't know. So, and then you've got to always worry that there's always the chance of misprints. So, just because it says in that one pack it's going to have times, dispatch and experience, doesn't necessarily mean they've got it on the right pack. So, you're bidding blind. That's the way I see it, unless we're going to be able to get in touch with Hornby and ring them up. I sent them an email on Monday because I had a query that I really, really wanted to get an answer to, and I've still not had a response. So almost a week later and I still haven't had a response. But we'll see if they get back. So, like I say, a bit of a follow-on video. That's all it really was. I just wanted to... Oh, nearly forgot. Now, in relation to the rocket, I often plug Mick at Durham Trains of Stanley, right? I don't get paid off him or anything like that. It's just, he's my go-to man. He's my shop of preference locally in the northeast that I'll go to. And you get a cup of coffee or a cup of tea when you're in there if you're hanging around for a while, so it's quite nice. A while ago, now I like to go in there, and I don't necessarily go there specifically for something. I like to go there, especially on a Thursday, because he's open late, and there's usually a group of people there, and you always end up having a good chat and a good bit of crack, as we call it. But I like to have a sift through everything that's come in recently, second hand and that sort of thing, and he has a huge amount of second hand stuff come through the shop. And it doesn't go on the internet. That's one of the things we were discussing it the other day when I popped in. He doesn't tend to put it on the website because it takes so long on his own to photograph, description, load it up, all that sort of thing. And he's running the shop at the same time, so I can totally understand that. Which is really why it's really good, in general, to visit your local model shop. Now, a while back, I popped in. I'll just reach back here, and I picked up something that, to me, looked interesting, right? I thought it was an old Triang rocket coach that somebody cut up and painted differently, but it isn't. The base would appear to be an old Triang coach, but the top is actually made of wood, very thin wood, whether it's balsa wood or not. It might actually be balsa wood because it is incredibly thin, and there's also a bit of plastic card in there and that. But I picked it up because it was sort of unfinished. It just needs a roof putting on one section of it. And now I have, or rather I will have, the perfect locomotive to pull it with. So I'm going to give you a... There we go. And I don't know if it'll look better on here on this camera, but if you have a look there, you can see the seating arrangements and all that. And this is just really, really thin wood. I'll bring it up onto this screen as well. You can see there, it's hand painted, you can see it is, but it does scream out it used to be a old rocket coach, but I can assure you that the top isn't. I did a little bit of research, and there were some kits around at one point to make these things a long time ago, but obviously utilising the Triang chassis there. This just goes to prove something. Digging around in your local model shop is worth it, because if I remember rightly, I think I paid £1 for this. So I paid £1 for something out of a little tub. It was a mixture of chassis and shells and things like that. That's all it was. It's not really of any interest to anyone unless someone's particularly modelling and that. But look, this year Hornby are re-releasing the Rocket. I'm going to have something reasonably unique to pull with it, and it won't look out of place. I don't think for 1 minute that is going to look out of place with that Rocket. Let me know what you think. Get it in the comments there. If you know more about this kit, let me know. But because I've never seen another one like it. I've seen an image in a very old 60s, 70s hardback book I've got, like a drawn, painted image, very similar to this, of rolling stock of the time, when the Rocket was around and things. So let me know what you think. That is definitely something that was a find. But my point there really was, as part of the fact that I've suddenly got something a little bit unique to run with the Rocket, get into your local model shop, because I'm forever picking up things that, for pennies, really, when you think about it, pennies, and I put them to one side because I think, do you know what, I've got a use for that. I'm going to have a use for that at some point. I'll look into it, but it caught my eye. It was more of an interest piece, which is why it's been on the shelf up the back here since the shelves went up. Another thing, this last week, I put a video up on the Bachmann Green Arrow V2. I'll put a link up here, or here, depending on which way it is. I can't remember now. I'll put it in the description as well, just in case I get it all over the place. It was more of just a show and tell thing. And in that video, I did sit around and say, I wished I was able to get it in the LNR apple green. Now, this goes to show sometimes you forget what you own. I don't have a Bachmann V2 Green Arrow in LNR apple green, but I do have a model of a V2 Green Arrow in LNR apple green. It's non-function, it's not real. Some of you may remember a few years back there was a fortnightly series book thing with a model. Was it Great British Steam Locomotives or something like that? And I got the lot. In fact, I got multiple items of certain ones because the newsagent was getting it in for me, and sometimes they sent too many and he would just give me it basically on top of what I was already buying. So I sometimes have multiple ones, which comes hand in handy because it means I can manipulate them a bit, weather them up, Barry Scrapyard, there you go. But I didn't realise. I forgot all about it. If I'd known and remembered, I'd have probably put it in the video with it. So it just goes to show that I do a lot of these things on the fly. But it was another interesting sort of like follow on from that video there. Another thing, and I don't want to tempt fate too much, the response in the last month has been incredible to this channel. We've gone over the 100 subs mark, which, to be quite honest, I started this more of it was more just to sort of like show what I was up to, what I was doing, what I had, and different things like that, and to sort of promote when we take the Mark 1 Cavalier and the Land Rover and the Range Rover and all that out during the summer months. I didn't quite expect as many people to be quite as interested in the models and things like that. So thank you to everyone who subscribed. A big thank you to everyone who is commenting, because like I said, I really do enjoy it. It's bringing up some great conversation starters and things like that. And in response to some of them comments, I'm going to be posting some videos over the next week or two that are in relation to some of those comments, purely because of questions or opinions that were put in. So do keep them coming in. I enjoy it, I really do. It's quite fun when I'm at work, when I have a rest period and things like that, to have a quick look on the phone and see what's been going on. Let me know if you've getting a hold of your 2020 catalogue. I think I've just knocked everything flying because it seems like everything's shaking at the moment on the screens. Let me know what you think of the new catalogue. It's it's like getting the old yellow pages. It's starting to get that thick. It is really starting to get that big. There was also a comment about the 66s. I will tell you now, after that comment and what I'd said in the 2020 video about me and the 66 is a bit like Marmite, I can divulge I like Marmite. So, I think this year I probably will get a hold of a 66. I don't believe for 1 minute I'm going to get a Hatton 66, purely because it's such a huge investment for something that is only just starting to sort of like interest me quite a bit. So I think I'm going to kick off with a Hornby 66, but I'm still not quite sure which one. Whatever one I get, it might be the only one I ever get. So it's got to be the right one. So let me know what you think about that. It was a conversation that started in the comments in the last video, so it could be something to build on. There'll certainly end up being a video when I do get one of that 66, because I'll probably dissect it to pieces. Maybe it might be an idea if I get one of them to go the full hog and get a sound chip decoder, go DCC with it, and try and get the full experience out of a railroad 66 basically. That's about it for the moment. I don't think there's anything else I need to bring up in relation to that 2020 video. Like I said, this video was on the fly. It was purely to sort of have a follow-up because I'd gotten a hold of the catalogue and because of those comments that came in, which were really appreciated. It certainly brought up a big discussion on certain areas of it. And thank you to everyone who understood exactly why I was so excited about the APT. I can tell you now that my daughter has banned the term APT or Advanced Passenger Train. So I keep having to try and sneak it in now in like Aperture and things like that, because she's already sick of hearing about it, and there's possibly 12 months before we actually see it. So thank you to everyone who actually understood exactly why I was so excited about that. Also, I noticed on eBay the prices of the APT, the old Hornby tooling, they started to drop quite considerably. But I kind of knew that was coming. I don't understand really why, because at the end of the day, it's still an APT. It's not going to be like the new one, but if you can't afford the new one, get a bargain at the moment, because they are coming down in price. But that's about it. Don't forget, support your local model shop. Pop in. If you're from the northeast of England, in the UK, and I know a lot of you aren't because I have a look at the analytics, but if you are from the northeast of England, get yourself to your local model shop. More specifically, have a pop in and see Mick at Durham Trades Standing. It's well worth it. And I can tell you right now, he has a huge amount of second-hand train packs, locomotives that are boxed, virtually unused, and the train sets as new. And there's some good ones there. Sets that I've reviewed on video before. I'm sure he's got a Master of the Glens there with the P2. He's definitely got the big Eddie Stobart container train, and that's a limited edition. I had a good look at that one with it's got a certificate in there as well. I'm trying to think what else he's got. No, I can't think of them all. There were so many there, and all of these Hornby train packs with a locomotive and rolling stock. I mean, there was a good couple of dozen of those that just come in. Some of those were limited edition as well, and the prices are amazing. So, like with any other local model shop, go and support them, because you see stuff in there, you're going to pay a fraction of the price than what you might do online. A lot of people might disagree with that, but one of the conversations I remember having on a Thursday in Durham Trains of Stanley with everybody in there was the fact that if you keep the prices down low, you get a fast turnover of stock, and you're keeping everybody happy, and it keeps me happy. Little bargain there with that little coach. So don't forget to support your local model shops. Don't just go to the big ones. I'll admit I go to the big ones as well, but that's just for certain items. But never neglect your local model shop. One day you might regret it, and they might not be there anymore. So thanks for watching. There's a nice video coming up, I believe on Monday will be getting released, another loco review. And then I think Thursday, I've got a train set there that's coming out, going to be going live, a review on. And There's a few other loco reviews. I think one or two. No. There's going to be quite a few actually before the end of the month come up. And then don't forget at the end of the month, the last video of the month will be a running session. We're going to get all the track out and things like that. And all of the locos that have been reviewed, they'll be going around. So, like I said, if there's anything you want to let me know, talk to me about it, anything like that, get in the comments, speak to me. Thank you for subscribing. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, share. I've discussed that one before. You won't get into trouble for doing it. I do appreciate it, especially if there's something there that's caught your eye. So, thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Bye.